Boom.
Are we all right?
Yeah.
Does
Looks
my
like-
head fit?
You'd have to stand behind the bike.
Behind which bike?
Oh, it looks like you got nothing on.
Nothing on?
Yeah.
What do you mean, nothing on?
Put your shorts down a bit. Disgusting.
Oh, you don't like my shorts? They are too short. You don't like my shorts?
Well, it's just lucky you're not my daughter, because I wouldn't let you out of the house.
Hello riders and not. Today on the vlog we have two of Min Customs bikes. As you can see, they are a little bit different. Which one do you want to start with?
Bubs. I already had some wheels and stuff left over, so I started building the frame, and then we had some really tragic news that Frank died. He went to the vets. I think he had an ear infection or something. He went to the vets. He didn't come out. Didn't come out the vets. Obviously, Rich was. Well, we all were absolutely devastated, but it did hit Rich really bad because Frank went everywhere with him. But Frank's nickname was Bubs. And then I had an idea that we'll do a little bit of a tribute to him because he was such a big part of our lives here. Obviously, it was Rich's right-hand man, and we missed him so much. So I built this bike, and we've called it Bubs. The reason the frame's Old English white is because he was kind of Old English white in places, and then he was brilliant white in some other places, and a scruffier bit of a grey and black in others. So it's actually a stock Sportster front half, and this is my back half built here. But I've cut all the neck out and did the neck. I like necking the mods on these Sportster frames because it just makes them a little bit more ours rather than Harley's. But I had the frame already cut up, grafted the back end into it. I didn't have an engine at the time. I don't know if you remember Arnie, but Arnie came in and had an oil leak on the crankcase. And I said to Neil, the guy that owns Arnie now, I said, why don't we just upgrade it and put a 5-speed motor in Arnie, and I'll rebuild this engine. So this engine went on the shelf.
So this is Arnie's engine, 4-speed?
This is originally Arnie's engine, yeah. Because I already had a rolling chassis. I literally didn't have anything else. I was building this bike out of stuff that was on the shelf, stuff that I acquired, stuff that was left over from another build, these wheels. When I eventually had time, I pulled the engine off the shelf, split it and completely rebuilt it. New pistons, new everything. I had a bit of a nightmare with a gearbox. 4-speed gearbox, which Ian Marshall from Marshall Speed and Custom helped me out an enormous amount. I owe that man so much. I've modded the cam covers and stuff. Cut them right down, and there's a few odds and sods that I've modded on the engine while I had it on the bench. This is a air filter off of one of Richie's hot rods, so I wanted to incorporate something like that. Tom from Tom's Customs, he built the exhaust for me because he was a really good friend of Richard and Bubs, Frank. And then Dave Hicks, the guy that painted the tins, he was also a member of the hot rod community. So I've tried to get as many people as I could involved in it because he was such a massive influence on everybody, that little dog. I choke it up a bit. But and I'm glad I did, and they did all chip in, and they did a great job. And all I had to do at the end really was put it all together.
Why you decided to go with apes this time?
They were on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
I've built all my own foot controls and everything. That's all been built on Lucy the lathe. Shaved my fork legs.
I really like the brass detail on them.
Yeah, they're quite funky. It's actually a built well seat that I was going to use on another build, but it looked a little bit like his collar the way that it is, and so I decided to donate it to this build.
Did you have a vision when you started building
No.
it, or you just one
I
of your
didn't.
random ones when everything just falls together during the process?
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, actually.
So it's like a puzzle. You start building it and you start putting things in, seeing if that will work or not. And
Yeah, because I wasn't
go
even
forward.
sure when the frame, I'd finished the frame off, and then I'd asked Dave, the guy that painted it, to fill the neck welds and stuff in because I wanted it smooth up the top. And so it was gone for quite a while, and I wasn't even sure what it looked like. And then at one point, I completely forgot that I was actually doing it because I'd other stuff on the go, and everything was away being painted, and on the build trolley, like your build trolley, everything gets stuffed on the build trolley, wheeled out the back. So I kind of forgot what was going on with it until stuff started coming back, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I didn't actually see it in my mind's eye where normally I do. Normally I have a reasonable
I know, that's
idea
why
of,
I'm asking,
of
because
what's
it's
going
unusual
on.
for you.
But no, I didn't.
You couldn't see yourself riding it.
No, and I still haven't been out on it. I've only been round the car park on it, so I don't even know how well it rides. Do you know what? I don't know whether I want to ride it. I don't know what I want to do with it.
Is it for sale?
How can I sell it? Even if it was for sale, how could I sell it? Because it's pubs. These are Uncle Simon's ginger nuts. Shame not. Frank Hodgson's ginger nuts.
Do you want a new version of me just because? When you're deep in daydreams, when nothing's forbidden, am I enough? If you could change, add or take from, what would it be? Would you tell me?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. Not a clue. He'll just stay here. As long as there's a water bowl there, he'll be all right.
Under the sheets.
And he's got a blanket to lie on.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's another bike that you not intended ever sell.
That's the Blade. Yeah, I know Tony Keast is quite interested in the Blade, right, Tony?
If you're gonna have a look, like, that fits me, doesn't it? But then that fits me too. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yes.
go from this side, because when I go from the other side, I can't lift the leg very high with my pants.
Yeah, told you.
That fits me too.
Yeah, it's got the same fairing kit, same seat unit as your GSXR, but this was...
GSXR is like a baby of that bike.
That's it,
it's like
yeah.
a little child.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll get a camera, and can you take us through what is done to that Fireblade. For those of you who haven't noticed already, that is a Fireblade. It is a Honda.
It's just a Fireblade.
It's a Fireblade. Not allowed to say.
It's just a Fireblade, yeah.
It's a fucking Honda.
Yeah, it's a fucking Honda. Moto 2-seat unit. TTX Olin shock. HM quick shifter. Gilles rear sets. Very nice RST carbon wheels. Alley hubs. Some absolutely shot to pieces Dunlop tyres. We've got a slipper clutch in there. We've got it's actually running a power commander. It hasn't had a Willits tuning. We've got Brembo clutch perch, Brembo master cylinder, Harris fully adjustable yokes, GPR rotary steering damper, not an Öhlins. Actually, this just fits here better. And I like to be able to get to my damper constantly, and if I was going to mount an Öhlins one, I'd have to keep reaching on the fairing. So, yeah, Harris yokes, which are lovely, billet yokes. They're actually Aprilia Öhlins fork legs, but with the upgraded monoblock Brembos, carbon wheel. Superbike discs, 520 chain conversion, lights, indicators, all things nice and fluffy. It's been mapped without the air tubes, which actually works perfectly well. It's put in some good brake horsepower. Can't remember what, but it's definitely more than 10. GB Racing engine protection, which is always the best thing to have on your engine. Starts, runs, rides. It's took me quite a while to actually get the setup right on it because of I was running the offset. I was running at a race offset on the yokes, and I ended up actually putting the yokes back to standard to make it a little bit more friendly. I was commuting on it for a little while. It's just bloody lovely. Full arrow system. Back in the this came with one of Stuart's bikes, and he crashed it in Almeria. He doesn't do British track days. Just goes abroad to do track days.
Is that the guy who was stealing your biscuits?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He was nicking my ginger nuts. That's not a euphemism. He was actually stealing my biscuits. And then I come up with an idea I said to him, I've just built a GSXR with this body kit. Let's rebuild your Fireblade. And it was a stock Fireblade, and we rebuilt it, but it then went through several different incarnations and changed hands, and it is what it is now. But I am going to say this, I will be taking the carbon wheels out.
Why?
Because I don't want to run them on the road. Quite happy to run them on a circuit, but not on the road.
Why don't you like running them on the road?
Because the road's just too harsh
fragile?
for them. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you should really have them tested and x-rayed every once in a while to make sure they're good, but it's a nice bit of bling to have down the pub, but serves no purpose at all on the road.
So if you're using your racing bike for a road and have carbon fiber wheels, it's rather not to, unless you have a lot of money and keep testing them on their x-ray.
Yeah, basically.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Top
that's my advice. Top tip, if you have got carbon wheels. I know some of the brand new Fireblades that are coming out, I think, BMWs have carbon fiber wheels from stock, but they'll be a more homologated carbon wheel. They'll have a stronger structure in them. They'll be, rather than a full-on superbike carbon wheel, which these are. So, but I'd still prefer an aluminium wheel.
Okay, so you almost accidentally inherited it from your friend Stuart, but
Yes.
if you would have a choice between the racing bikes and track bikes, would you still choose Fireblade or something else?
No, GSXR.
GSXR.
Yeah.
1,000 or 600?
750.
750.
Yeah, the 750. I think the GSXR 750 is probably, I'll stand corrected if you like, but I think it's probably the best all-round sports bike. Track day bike, track day weapon, for reliability, for chassis, for power. It's absolutely perfect. Obviously you still get you get gnarled up on the straights by some of the 1,000 boys that can't go around corners. But my preference and my ideal track bike would be a GSXR 750 built here. So it'll have proper front end, proper shock, proper everything in it. But the GSXR 750.
So you can raffle this and build the GSXR 750.
What?
We can hear some motorcycles that are going 40 miles per hour.
40.
Yeah. In a neighborhood. So would you raffle it and get 750 to build?
No.
You still can't. So those two bikes you can't.
They're mine.
They're yours.
Why does I don't want
You
anyone else
wouldn't
to have
swap
them.
them to anything. They are just grow with you.
Yeah.
Despite maybe it's not exactly the vision that you had or something that you wanted, you end up with that and you can't get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you come to Cadwell on it? with
I'm
me?
gonna bring this to Cadwell. Yeah, I'll probably put some. Well, no, 100%. Definitely put some fresh rubber on it. Happy days. Doesn't look like there's any fuel in it.
Hold the front brake on.
Wow.
Don't try that at home, folks. You should only try that in a controlled environment and an enormous amount of stupidity.
On today's episode, guys, you can win a creeper and a set of tools from Louis Moto. Not exactly this creeper because I'm not sure if Simon will give it away. I think he quite likes it, but it is a very good creeper. I've been stealing it from Simon all the time.
Oh, guess what? That's mine.
Yeah, you can win one for yourselves.
Not this one. Buckle off.
And a set of tools. To participate, you have to follow instructions in the first comment and the description. Don't forget to follow all the points that you have to do. It won't be complicated, I promise. Oh my god, I love it! Can you put some on mine as well? I swear those microphones, they are living the life of their own. Oh! Wow! Isn't that the best thing ever? That's so cute! What are you doing? You finished?
Is that it?
Do you think we got a good one?
What?
Do you think we got a good shot? Was the camera even on?
I don't know. What do I do that department?
I think your legs are too short for this bike.
It's on a paddock stand.
But I can reach it with no problem.
Yeah, well, you've got 80-foot long daddy long leg dangly skinny things.
Maybe we should build you a smaller bike and this one I can inherit.
Yeah, I want this one. This will kill you.